Hey friends, welcome to Inktober Day 2 of the Daisy Project, the collaborative children's book project. If you're still trying to figure out what's going on, I'm going to hopefully explain it a bit better today. I feel like I'll probably be explaining it until the end of October, to be honest, but essentially we're making a collaborative children's book. You don't have to use ink. I'm just doing it for the Inktober prompts because I thought it'd be really fun for me to work on as my prompts list for Inktober. I'm also working on like 900 other prompts lists at the moment, some for my spare time, Whimsy Ween for my extra YouTube content, and just for playtime. I'm prompts list crazy this month, so that's just my truth, my story, my vision. But if you just want to pop on and do a couple, if you want to do 2 or 5 or 1 or none, that is completely fine. It's all in the name of just getting involved, having a bit of fun, and feeding off the energy and excitement of everybody else doing it as well. If you're someone like me and you might struggle with a bit of FOMO, this month is kind of bad for that because a lot of people, especially at the beginning, are super gung-ho about the prompts list. So I just want you to get involved because I know it's better to feed off of the excitement whilst it's there than to kind of be alone in that after the fact. So that's why I'm just kind of pushing it. I'm a pusher, Katie. Clock the reference. It's not actually the quote from the movie, but oh no, it is. Totally is. Please excuse me as well. I've had what's called a nitro coffee this morning, so voiceover might get a bit wild. I also have something really funny to share with you. I have a goal for Inktober, and it's not what you think it would be, but I really want to get better at voiceovers, and not in the sense of like changing my voice or working on accents or anything. I literally want to be able to put the recording on and do it one and done. I don't know if you know this, but I scrap mostly every single voiceover I do and do it 2 or 3 more times. Usually sometimes I start out, like I'm really nervous because this is the first one I'm kind of committing to just putting the first one up. So just bear with me today. If it seems different, it's because there's pressure that I know I'm not going to delete this one. But I don't know, I get 2 minutes in, or sometimes even worse, I could get like 18 minutes into a longer video and I'm voiceovering it, and I don't like to cut up the audio because I kind of go on so many tangents anyway. It's really difficult to know if I'm piecing it together in a way that would even make sense. So I always just like to have it one and done. But most of the time I get a few minutes in and then I think, oh, I've kind of stuffed up that intro, or I forgot to say something. Let me try that again. I mean, I'm not going to say all the time. There are a few. There are a bunch, actually. I'd say it's probably 50-50. Sometimes I'm able to just do the voiceover naturally and it just feels really fine. I mean, I've never scripted anything, which is, I guess, maybe it might help, but I also feel like I would sound robotic reading off of a script. I don't read very quickly, so the videos would be very long, but no, I wanted to be able to do it because it also cuts my editing time down in half, and the less time I spend editing, the more time I can spend creating, obviously. But especially when these monthly challenges happen, I get the editing kind of very formulaic, and so the thing that really trips me up or kind of takes an unnecessarily long time is having to redo voiceovers because my stupid mouth said something it shouldn't have said. So today I'm just going to put that out there. I'm really going to make a conscious effort to do the voiceovers just one and done, and I want to see if I can get through Inktober doing that. I probably won't. In fact, I know I won't, but I just want to be more aware of it because it really does eat into my time. I'm just kind of looking into a lot of where I spend my time and how I spend my time, and just making sure that I stay really efficient so that I can kind of get everything done. I know that sounds stupid now that I've got a lot of extra time because Patreon's finished, but I also see that now that Patreon being finished, it's kind of a trap for me because I think, oh, I can use all that extra time and do nothing with it, which is nice, and totally I will do that when I go on holiday. But as you know, if I'm still working, I want to be super efficient. So that's just my truth today. And like I said, I had a nitro coffee, so my brain's wired. I feel like I am wired. I'm just sitting in the chair kind of shaking at the moment. It's one of those coffees that I don't know what it's really called. It's a vanilla nitro coffee, and it is, it's one that you can literally only take sips of at a time. Like, I think it's harder to drink than alcohol. And so you can imagine me this morning trying to gulp that down, because I had a bit of a late night last night. Nothing fancy, I just kind of fell asleep in front of the television eating chips. Remember how I started my diet yesterday? I got to, so I've been trying to do what I did a few months ago, and it's like, it's calorie counting, but it's also intermittent fasting, and I'm just terrible because it gets to that period of the night where I know, oh no, I've only got 15 minutes left to eat, and then I'm on that, the eating hold until the next day, and it's supposed to do lots of good things. Who knows? I was trying it. It worked for me once upon a time. I just kind of gave up. But I said to myself, oh, I'll do that again yesterday. I was going to start yesterday, which is awful. You should never start on a Monday, and you should never start a diet on the first of the month, because I just feel like you set yourself up for failure. For me, anyway. I'm talking to myself here. But, it got to about 8 o'clock I was supposed to stop eating. 8:15, I'd cracked open the Tim Tams, the Cadbury Fingers. I had sea salt chips, just, like, all around the house. M&M's, fun-sized chocolates, strawberry licorice. Had my Daryl Lee's out. I also blame Stella, because Stella came over and she was the one that opened the strawberry licorice, so totally not my fault. Oh, and Stella brought me a present she found out and about, and I wish you could see it. It's another Whitney shirt, so this makes 2 Whitney t-shirts from Stella, and 2 fantastic t-shirts, both my favorite t-shirts in the entire planet. This one just kills me though, because it's just Whitney's glamour shot, and then it just says in big red writing across it, Whitney. I might put it on my Insta story later today, because I just love it. So if you ever see some really fun Whitney Houston t-shirts out there, just pop me a link, let me know. If you've got an affiliate link for it, even better. I'd be happy to throw the extra coin your way. But yeah, wow. See, this is why I would probably delete this voiceover. I might actually. Then no one will know that that's what I'm trying to work on. No, I'm also trying to work on the inking skills, which I am, glad to say it's kind of, I'm still learning a lot, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, I picked it up again. Ooh, police are out there. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm still learning a lot, which is really great, and I'm kind of relearning what I remember that I was learning last Inktober. There was a long period where I didn't pick up the ink again after Inktober, because I think it was just, I'd kind of had enough of it after all the pieces that I did last year, which is fine. I wasn't mad at myself for that, but I'm relearning a lot, and I'm also learning some new things. I think I'm trying to really experiment with the tones of all the like the shades of grey, the 50 Shades of Grey. I've never read the book. Don't reference it. I have no idea what you're talking about. Honestly, truly, I don't read though. Like I'll read picture books or magazines. That's the extent of my reading. I read Ellen DeGeneres' book, is it called Here and Now? No, is that one of her comedy specials? What's it called? I want to say it's called Just for Laughs, but that's not. That's a comedy sketch TV show. I have no idea. Oh, seriously, I'm kidding. That's the one I read. I was laughing out loud on the plane. I read it in one plane ride. Also, I read The Hunger Games in one plane ride as well. Maybe I just need to be on a plane to read. Make a mental note, grab a book for my November trip. I don't know, there's just a long period of time, and sometimes I feel a little queasy watching the television on the plane, which doesn't make sense if I'm reading a book too. But now that I have art journaling, I'm usually just journaling on the plane, so who knows if I'll ever read another book again. But what was my point? I don't read. I don't know where I was going with that. I've completely lost my train of thought. Either way, I am trying to experiment with all the tones. Oh, the 50 Shades of Grey, I was telling you, yeah. I have no idea what that thing is about. I never even saw the movie, and so many people were talking about it, I thought, okay, well, it's probably just a little overhyped for me. But I'm not quite sure. Seems very adult, so I'm not going to be interested. But yeah, no, I'm learning how to play with all these tones, and this was a really difficult piece for me to approach because I wanted it to be quite dark. This prompt is day 2. A leaf looked at me in a weird way yesterday in my garden hideaway. So you can tell the rhyming pattern for that prompt is kind of weird, but who knows, we'll make it work. I wanted to put Daisy in her little garden hideaway. To me, Daisy is very obsessed with cats and ribbons and probably all the things that I'm just obsessed with, and she loves being in her garden just by herself, like kind of very Secret Garden-esque, but nothing crazy happens in there except for all of her stories, and who knows if they're real or not, but I just picture her being in there just talking to her friends. And who knows who her friends are, but I just pictured this leaf kind of curious about Daisy because she's always in there and she's always just being super random and extra. And then the leaf looks at her kind of a weird way and she interprets that for like some kind of I don't know, like she's really off-put by it. Like she almost wants to start a fight with this leaf. That's how I interpreted it anyway. The whole point of this whole challenge is to see how other people interpret it and what you make of it. I've already seen some really fun ones for this one as well. And so that's what I was working with, but I wanted the piece to be very dark and almost have this vignette around it, but I'm not super competent and confident with putting in strong, bold, ink, especially if I want to get some detail in there. And I'm also experimenting with the more simplistic illustration style for this one too. So it was more about kind of adding in all the layers of ink with the vines, which I thought made a really beautiful effect. And then watch me when I put the tea towel, like the little paper towel over the top of Daisy and the leaf, and I kind of go nuts with the ink. I thought to myself, it's still very mid-tone, and even when I finished it, I still think it's very, there are way too many mid-tones. There's not enough contrast between all of the grays, but I'm okay with it. You can just see now that I'm starting to think, okay, I need more of a vignette, and then I didn't do it the way I probably should have done it, where I wet the page and let the ink flow into it. I kind of just went straight in with the ink. So it was really hard to get a really nice soft feathering around the edge. And because I did that, I thought, well, if I add more texture to it by covering up Daisy and the leaf and then just kind of going nuts with the little paintbrush, adding little flecks and spots and dots. And I thought it'd be very gritty, very grainy, and hopefully that would help with the darkness. I'm completely trashed my underneath mat at this point. If you don't know, that mat underneath is actually just a piece of paper. It's from a Etsy store called Northern Drops, all one word. They sell these flat lay photography backgrounds that you're supposed to put on a table and kind of take your product photography on it. But I use it as the kind of underneath mat so that I can protect my wood table. I also think that having a white background underneath is, and I don't like stark white, I think that's too much, but having this white background makes everything look brighter, and so I feel like the video quality ever since I started using these white mats underneath just became a lot nicer for me. I feel like it just looked a bit more crisp. Sometimes I still get it very wrong. Sometimes I film with the wrong light, or I film too late in the day and it goes from daylight into artificial light, and you can kind of tell, but I don't think anyone's seriously disturbed by that. But yeah, I just wanted to play with all these tones, and I thought, well, just go bold, try it. What are you going to lose? You're supposed to be learning. You can't just sit here and think, well, what if you try this again another time when you feel like you're not going to ruin it? I thought, you've got to practice what you preach. Just go for it. I didn't want to throw it away. I didn't want to photocopy it. When I did it, I didn't like it at all. And I thought, oh, this is a problem. I'm going to have to start again. And I'd put in so much work. And I thought, well, I haven't cracked out the white gel pen yet, which is one of my favorite steps for any kind of creative piece, like any just like mixed media, any art journaling, anywhere I can add a white gel pen to it, I'll try and get it in there. And I thought, well, if I could kind of brighten up or illuminate Daisy and the leaf in some way, then they might jump out from the background a little bit, because I thought everything kind of fell very flat, and it wasn't until I added this white gel pen that I thought, oh, I'm much happier with it. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's perfect, and it did not come out the way that I thought it would. I had a very different vision for how dark it might come across, or like how the vignette might look and the composition, but at the same time I did learn a lot from this, and I'm really happy to have experimented in this way, and very, very thankful that the white gel pen came through for this one, because honestly I didn't know how to make her pop. At this point I thought I would have to paint the whole background just another darker shade of grey. Ultimately this ink, once it dries, it will layer over the top, and it's very transparent if you shear it down with water, so it's not going to disturb what's underneath. So that means you can always build upon layers, and it kind of has this translucent quality. It's almost like everything's just a ghost in front of another thing, you know what I mean? Like, it just looks like tons and tons of shadows. So I do think it works, but I'm still yet to find the perfect balance for me, and that's going to be a bit of a challenge, because I'm of the mindset where I just add more, more is more is more. So another challenge for me to work on in Inktober. I've got a lot of things to work on, but I'm happy to say I think I'm actually going to keep this voiceover. I'm so excited. I made it to the end, one and done. Who knows, this might be a new journey for me of better, quicker editing. Who knows? We'll see. Wow, I was so happy. I congratulated myself early, and now I have to finish. Okay, I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching. Bye.